I'm hot. Oh, we got one more coming. Mr. Timothy.
So,
Yeah, that sending out the deal to get the new badges threw some people into a tizzy. Oh, I got the old badge. You mean it didn't go to work anymore? No, it's not, but...
oh, that was another thing. How do we probably have to make an application now? I missed a
Do what? For what?
for club badges.
Don't you have one? Oh.
Well, I didn't get my dues paid either. That's why.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, basically, you you have to get into the safe system. I'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I did bring it to you.
Oh, look at
Did
that.
you remember to bring yours?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Is that a gun?
No.
So,
You-
it's a HF through UHF and touchscreen antenna analyzer.
Oh, no, the one I have is a standalone. It's got to plug into a laptop.
Yeah, well, I brought a laptop too.
Oh, okay.
This one, you can stand alone, you can take screenshots, you can save them.
Yeah.
A couple thousand to the memory card.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can upload them to your phone or or a computer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
I just was wondering how accurate this actually is. So, but I do find amazing for getting just a single port though. The price is under $250 shipped.
That one is?
And it comes with an open short load too.
Right.
It also has what do they call it? Smith charts on here too.
Oh. Well, I think the one I have does. It's on the computer. But.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, sometime we'll have to get together with both of them and run an antenna.
Yeah. And then I don't know if at the end of the meeting you want to announce that I brought it in case someone wants to take a look at it. And
Oh,
check out
yeah.
some of the functions.
$200. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And,
neat.
You just gotta.
Well, just leave it here so I don't forget talking about it. Yeah. If you want to, yeah, that's great. About 6 o'clock.
Okay. That's fine. I told my wife I was going to get this.
Oh, there you go. Oh, we got one more coming. Barry. All right, welcome to the Collins Amateur Radio Club. We don't have to put an R in front of it anymore, so we're good to go. So we'll start off with introductions. Part of the reason for new guys is that if you hear somebody on the repeater and you say, oh boy, I really want to meet that guy, or whoa, he's yeah, okay. And so you listen to the call and then you can coordinate that, say, oh, that guy, yeah, I know who he is. So I'm KC0CD, Charlie.
KB0EHC, Agnes.
Al, K0HWE.
Tom, KD0HF.
Steve, WA0EOQ.
Zen's N2AIE.
I'm Rod, K0DAS.
Bill, N0LNO.
Jez, MPD0YFL.
Al, WA0JYF.
Al, K0VM.
Al, KA0IES.
Very natural.
Larry, K0MTM.
Larry, K9HHK.
Dave, we're not done. WA9HBC.
Dave, NN0.
Ryan, KI7LIV.
Alan, WB0OAV. K0JT.
Elizabeth and 0 UTP.
Harlan, K0AEB.
And 84.
There, AA0AR.
EC0DM.
Gary, K0IO.
Mike, KC0 and
Henry, KC0.
Kroger.
Yeah.
K0RV.
Nathan, KE0DPG.
Tim, N0CKR.
And Christopher Caldwell, K0YGW.
All right. The treasurer will now tell us how much we have in the banco.
As of Saturday, we have $4,482.80. There will be a couple other additions and a subtraction to finalize bidding to the Campus Amateur Radio Club over in Ames this week. But that was decided on months ago.
True it was.
And by the way, we're given half, and the company's given half.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks for working that out.
Yeah.
All right. Not much has been happening around the stations. I have been using the remote access Flex radio, and that's kind of fun. You just, you know, when your computer's on, you just click on it, and up it comes, and you can listen and talk and stuff. So if you want to work the remote radio, it's a Flex 6700. It's out at Adrian Hill's place. We have crossed dipoles on it. So, you know, wherever you want to talk, it kind of has a lobe that goes in that direction. Oh, just interesting, WWV, last time I mentioned that, you know, there was talk about them shutting it down to save $6.3 million out of the whole budget of whatever it is, 14 trillion or 4 trillion or whatever. What we have now heard is the fact they're going to take the, it's a heartbreak, I know, it's going to be hard to take, but they're going to shut down the weather report, the Northern Atlantic weather report that some guy reads through every hour, whatever. There's some time on there where I've stumbled across that. So you're not going to get the weather report, but you'll still get the time hack and all that stuff. They don't, if they were to shut it down, they don't know how many things would have a problem. Because who's using it? Yeah, the hams, you know, you're setting your clock and stuff, but how many other things are synchronized against that isn't synchronized to the GPS? So that's not, so that's kind of new news. We should continue to get WWV. Okay, just for your information, this is the current list of the officers. I need to get your call sign in there. And so if you have not subscribed or joined the club recently, this would be the man to talk to. Please.
Christopher.Caldwell at Rockwell Collins.
No. Collins.com. They both work. Okay. So if somebody wants to take the program spot, that would be outstanding. We haven't had anybody in that position for a while. Okay. The North American QSO party. Is Greg or Mike? No, neither one of them are here. But main plant, Mike and Greg Lind are going to, Heineck, we're going to man main plant station. It goes from noon to midnight on Saturday. And Mike really enjoys this one. It's a short time and it's quick and all the rest of it. So there's multiple radios down there. And the new 6600M Flex radio. So that one's available also. The Ten-Tac is hooked up to the 1500 watt, how am I drawing the blank? Alpha, yes. And it'll kick it out. So, and you got that 4-element. Mike may have the Jeep Lab point the log periodic in a particular direction. I don't know what he would pick. And it'll be available, so we can run two stations if you want, if we get enough operators. So talk to Mike at collins.com or Greg and let them know. Pop in for an hour. That'd be fun. Okay, not much happening at the club stations. One guy was up there operating the K3 and he was very pleased with it, so go up there and compete with him. Down at the main plant, the satellite station, we've got all the hardware and everything. It's got a brand new computer down there. Just need somebody to go down there and hook it all up that knows what to do, or get Wyatt in to come in and he could, you know, that's what we need to do. So that's pretty much stuff that needs to be done. use the equipment. And we've got a whole bunch of folks that got retiree badges. And for those that haven't, you can talk to me. What you need to do, the steps you need to do to get a badge as a retiree is get in the safe system so I can meet you at the 105 entrance. I'll escort you up to the security and they'll cut you a badge. You have to fill out the paperwork. I got the paperwork for you to fill out and you're good to go. So you got to be a retiree to get that one. All right, so contact me if you have any questions about that. That would be swell to get more people to use the thing. And that's all I had.
I have a question.
Yes.
What actually can you do with that badge?
You can get us all into trouble with this badge. Because it'll get you into most of the facility. I mean, once you get through 112, actually you don't have to type your past number in to get into the 112 station. You have to scan it like you do getting in here, but that gets you into the atrium, which gets you up to the bathroom, which gets you to the station.
So can that get you in here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
And it gets you into main plant. But we prefer you only go in entrance 4, which is right by the station, right under the log periodic. But it gets you into the factory, into the area. So you could get us all into trouble. You'd come in there and you start busting stuff up, and then we'd all lose all of our badges. So don't do that. Yeah. If you're going to operate a station, come down to 112. The one down at main plant is at the back of the Burlington conference room, so don't go barging through there when there's a meeting going on. Kind of like to keep a low profile. So, any other questions, comments? Yes?
I got the badge under Rockwell Collins. Do we need it up?
Absolutely. Oh, you didn't get the...
I got the email, but my name wasn't on the list. And so
Oh.
it's a little unclear.
No, well, that was the list they compiled. So they may have missed you, but if you got the badge, basically what you have to do is just walk past the guard. Jim Spencer went in yesterday. Just walk past the guard and walk up to security and present the thing, and they will cut you a new one.
So our badges should say Collins.
Oh yeah. The other ones will probably stop working here in a while. So,
Save them as a
yeah. Yep. Nope. So, yeah, I should get those replaced. Yes.
So official name for the club now is going to be Collins.
Collins Amateur Radio Club. Unless we want to vote on adding aerospace into it. It was Collins when we started. Or what, was it aerospace when Collins?
It was just Collins Amateur Radio Club.
Right.
Then he decided on the Rockwell Collins Amateur.
Yeah, well, so we're back to Collins, and that'll cover it, I think.
So I think that you be noted for the Facebook page.
I will.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes. I changed it.
Yeah,
And put the,
it's beautiful.
question mark.
Yes. So you can take the Rockwell Bohica off of it and put the screw tape on it. Okay, any other comments? Yeah, the Bohica, what's that?
Collins Amateur Radio.
Well, that's right, that's what we are now. Yeah. Yes, Dave.
We up to announcements and new business yet?
Yes, please, go ahead. You're on.
We've got a whole slew of things going on.
Oh, good.
The Collins Aerospace COP, or Amateur Radio COP, will be February 4th at the 106 North South Meeting Room.
Oh,
The topic will be reflections, the final reflection, hoping to put to bed the eternal controversy between regarding transmission lines, the SWR, conjugate match, etc.
oh boy, that'll be a thriller there, man. Woohoo! So can just regular folks come to that, or does you have to be new, or how's that work now?
Okay. Easy for current employees to attend. For retirees, you gotta have an escort. still have not got that worked
What?
out.
If you got a badge, I can go anywhere.
Okay, badge is good.
Right, yes. So, but we can come to the meeting, or anybody can come to, because to start with, it was kind of like new folks, but anybody that wants, and so that's February 4th
February 4th at noon.
at noon. Okay?
Yeah. Next, Iowa QRP Club has been resurrected. I mentioned that at the CBARC meeting. Anybody with interest, talk to me afterwards. 26th and 27th of January is Winter Field Day. And
I
the
saw
Boy Scouts will be out at camp freezing our little Boy Scout butts off and participating in that. So if you hear us on the air, we'll be HF side band mostly. Give us a holler, give us some encouragement.
What's your call going to be?
WN0BSA.
Duh.
Boy Scouts of America.
Yeah. Okay.
And commercial announcement for Ozark Con, first weekend in April. Those who have not attended, it is tons of fun. It is the second largest QRP event in North America, and in my opinion, the most fun, because you can spend the whole weekend basically sitting around and hanging out with rednecks. And if you don't want to do that, there's tons of stuff to do in Branson that will entertain the significant others. Be they of the male or female gender, there is the Cabela's and all the craft stores, so fun time. And it is Branson. Finally, the largest QRP event in North America is 4 days in May, which is concurrent with the Dayton Ham Fest. Registration is open for that, and that is another super fine time. I know I see some of you guys there, but if you want to...
Where is that?
That is in the Fairborn Holiday Inn. And for more
At
information...
Dayton.
At Dayton.
Ah.
The website for that is qrparci.org and or Google FDIM, which is the abbreviation for the event. So I will be doing all of these things. Hope to see you all there.
Well, you can send that list and dates and everything to me, and I'll have it sent to the club.
Can do.
All right. Any other additions? Yes.
I wasn't here when you went over my slide, right?
I did go over your slide, yes.
Okay, so we have the North America QSO party this weekend. Starts Saturday at 12 o'clock, runs till midnight on Sunday. Now, Charlie gave you a slide. I don't know how many, was there anybody interested in doing it?
I didn't ask that. I may come over for a while.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, if nobody's interested in doing it, Mike and I might still do it. But if nobody wants to do it, I mean, we're trying to get people that want to come in and operate the shack. The thing is, it's kind of a, Mike has some things to do those days. I have some things to do those days. So you can't count on me being there from Saturday at noon till 12 midnight on Sunday. Yeah, that's what I would say. So if you are going to do it, let us know. We can sign you up as part of the team. Mike and I are on the team right now. And is there anybody interested? Is there anybody in this illustrious group wanting to operate on Saturday or Sunday? Besides Charlie. Because Charlie does everything.
Well, it'd be easier if you said Saturday midnight. It's 12 hours, right?
It's 12 hours.
So it's Saturday at midnight, not Sunday at midnight.
No, it's not Sunday. Yeah, Saturday at noon to Saturday at midnight.
That sounds like less time.
I'm sorry.
So it looks like,
Depending on what the weather does.
depending on what the weather does. Well, by noon Saturday, it could be anything. I mean, we're in Iowa. Wait 4 hours, it'll change. The weather guesser will change. It could be.
I have the NF3JP, whatever. What is his software? I mean, Scott. I can't think of his name. It's the same software that we use for field day. The same type of software. It's $49. I'll bring my laptop in and log that. But we also have logging sheets here too. Anybody interested? Any takers, anywhere, come now. Anybody's worked a contest like that, you know? Give me a call. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, call me now.
That's right. Going?
Doesn't sound
Going?
like you guys are too interested. Okay.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, so,
One other announcement.
yes.
So you're talking about things in April. Registration's open for the VHF Super Conference.
Oh,
20
you mean mid-state?
Yeah, 24th through the 29th of April in Sterling, Virginia.
Oh.
This
Well,
isn't Central States.
So I,
Oh, this isn't Central.
my wife got invited to attend, so I'm going to go as the spouse. And, and my coworkers are out there, so I'm going to drop in and visit them. So be there.
Oh.
Bell and
So when's Central States?
it's in July.
Oh, that's July.
It's gonna be in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh.
Third weekend of July. Right next door.
Yeah. So is that one worth visiting?
Yes.
Ah. Well, send me that information. I will mix it with everybody else, and here in the next week or so, we'll send that out and post it on your bulletin board, see which ones we can make. So are you going to have a caravan going?
What?
I don't know, any of these things you're talking about. Like, are you going to have a caravan going down to Ozark or QRP Con?
Probably. Well, Steve White is going to be giving a presentation there, so he will be heading down. I have to head down a day early to get there for the board of directors meeting, so on and so forth. But, yeah, ask around a little bit later in the spring. There will be a group.
All right. Any other additions or comments? Yes. Michael.
Those of you who've been here a while might remember that as we get into the spring, it's time for the Eastern Iowa Science and Engineering Fair. The fair this year is Saturday, March 16th. In years past, both the Collins Amateur Radio Club and Cedar Valley Amateur Radio Club have jointly sponsored an award for best use of radio or radio electronics in the project. Move that Collins Amateur Radio Club continue that support this year by providing a little pot of money to be used for prizes, and also if any of you want to volunteer to help with selecting deserving projects on that Saturday. The more the merrier. It works a lot better if we have more people to help us look at the project.
I did it last year, and there is an interesting range of show and tell. Some of them are very interesting, and other ones are like, this is really a science project?
Which is, and it's part of the reason why both of the amateur radio clubs here have supported that is to try and give a little bit of extra encouragement to students who might not have known very much about amateur radio, may not have known it existed at all, and then say, hey, what you're interested in, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with that. There's a whole hobby that goes around some of that. So again, I move that the Collins Club support that. I wasn't able to make it to the CROC meeting this last week, so they don't know what's coming, but I will get to that as soon as I can. It's very likely that they will also join in supporting that. So we'll have kind of the same deals we did last year in terms of the financial support. Not to exceed $50.
What are you thinking about for an award?
In years past, we've given out to the senior level project, we've given out the ARRL handbook. And
that's $60.
That's the
What?
current.
Can I make a recommendation?
And a gift card, an Amazon gift card usually, because Radio Shack isn't here anymore. And for the junior level, it's the tech manual, mission license manual, and again another gift card. So between the two books, if I got to the end of the year sale at ARRL and get a slightly better price and no cost for shipping, So I've already got those bits in hand. And then the gift cards. So the total ends up being like 110, 115. But again, ask that we split it 50-50, $50. Oh, regard, C-bar. I always make that list. It's not a big deal.
So maybe another thought is, why don't we get a couple of first aid QRP kits instead of a tech manual or something like that? Because, I don't know, have we done any follow-up on the previous years that we've given handbooks or anything? Have they used them, or are they sitting on the shelf or something like
I don't know
this?
if they have actually used some of the material we've given them. I know that some of the projects we have selected have come back next year with a similar project. And so it's possible that at the senior level, they could have used some of the information in the book that they have to help them with their project. Yeah, you know, if the club wants to donate some gifts instead of a gift card, I think that would be
I
great.
think it's a little bit more appropriate for books.
And I'd be very happy to have that go along with the books.
Maybe we can get a professional discount too.
On the kids?
That's right. That's right. Cheap, cheap, cheap.
Well, it's not so much cheap, it's as much as if we really want to find students who are doing stuff that it looks like if we gave them a little encouragement, they might steer towards or our way of thinking on in terms of how we want in terms of their career, in terms of what they'll go study when they get out of junior high or high school. We all remember sometimes there's something who gave us a little bit of an idea of what the future might hold for us.
You were going to make a suggestion?
I think based on what we're saying, we got a lot of options up there, and we've been at $50 forever. So it's like making a not to exceed 100. He's got to give us a receipt.
Not to exceed 100. You want to make a motion to that effect?
Well, that's amend his motion.
Amended, and so now the motion is not to exceed 100.
I'll second the amendment to a.
Well, we hadn't gotten to a second, but anyway, that's great. We got a second for 100.
And then also, again, the amendment to the motion is not a gift card, but if we could find kits to provide.
It's up to you to figure out.
Yeah, I think I can work with somebody about kits.
Okay, any other questions or discussion on the motion that's on the floor? All those approved say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. All right,
Thank you all
passed.
very much.
Talk to the treasurer. Yes.
If you've never been to a national convention, it was mentioned a little while ago, the Dayton Camp Convention, it's also going to be the National ARL Convention.
How's that going to make it different?
Oh, there'll be more stuff.
Oh, more stuff! Oh, free stuff?
Probably.
Oh, yes!
Well, typically at a national convention, there's a lot more forums and presentations. Now, Dayton already has a lot of them, so I don't know how many more, but I should find out. I'm going to the board meeting this week, so.
So yes, if you could find that out, I could add that to the list of spring happenings that encourage people to set their calendars up.
The last one was 3 years ago in Huntsville, Alabama. So if you've never been to Dayton, it's a good excuse to go this year because you'll get the convention as well as the national convention.
That'd be good. Okay, anything else? Yes.
I didn't hear it come up before, but every spring there's a weather spotter training.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one.
March 2nd, at St. Mark's Lutheran Church. 1 o'clock? Yeah, the program starts at 1, doors open like 12:15. Seabart flyer, I'll send you the flyers for the thing.
Okay.
And, okay, so just a sidelight here. Donna DeBerkey has been doing this for a while. She was a warning coordination meteorologist. She's moved on. She's now the meteorologist in charge. So they got different titles. But she's now in charge of the lacrosse office. So she's the head honcho up there. So there's another guy, Rich Kinney, is the guy who's the coordination meteorologist at Cedar Rapids, and he was here lecturing last year. Last year there was 3 of them here, and so it should be a good show. March 2nd, 1 o'clock at St. Martin Lutheran Church, and I'll send you something so you can put a flyer.
Okay, I will add that. You're ready to go? Oh, here, you want this? Right here.
Oh, do
Yeah, you're being recorded.
Am I? Oh, man.
Just for
That's
your
not good.
information, Vince has been recording.
You're trending, Tim.
Am I what?
You're trending.
Trending? That's a good
Has
thing.
been recording the club meetings for the last, I don't know, few years, yeah, several years. And they're all on the website. So if you go out to w0cxx.us, and down there it says interesting links, well, you go to that page, and all of them are there. Some dude talking about Antarctica and antennas, and I don't know if the L-craft talk got on there or not, but nonetheless. Okay, so today, Tim's going to talk to us about how we encourage folks to come into amateur radio. This ain't your grandpa's amateur radio anymore. When I started back in '69, you could talk Morse code.
Sure.
Or you could talk voice, if you ever got your Morse code over 13 words a minute. Or you could do radio teletype, and that was about as much as you could do. Well, that's not the way it is anymore. There's 20 different modes you can communicate on. FT8, if you haven't heard, is basically taken over everything else. This weekend is the sweepstake, but in a couple of weeks is the radio teletype. So if you want to check to see if FL Digi works on radio teletype, get on there and the band will be solid during that moment. A couple of years ago I was checking the radio and I said, man, look at this, man, it's really working well. Oh, and then I realized it was a radio contest. The rest of the band was dead. It was so you tune your solar panel or your power supply to that, and you're sucking out all the power. Okay, so Tim has it.
Well, the danger in all the FT8 and all the whisper modes and WSJT and all that is if we all end up on one frequency, the FCC is going to look at the rest of them going, well, all those hams only need one frequency.
Oh, one other thing. We, as a show and tell, one of the guys brought a HF, VHF, UHF antenna analyzer for y'all to look at. We're going to compare that with the one I have access to and see which one is more accurate. That doesn't tell you anything, does it? If they're different, which one is right?
Whichever one costs the most.
Whichever one costs her. Ah, yeah, that's right.
Man with wristwatch, know what time. Man with two wristwatch, never know. Confucius says, right? All right.
What doesn't work knows exactly
Twice a day, exactly. Well, thanks for allowing me to do this. Some of you may have seen various flavors of this, but we kind of mixed it up tonight. If you have trouble with change or growth, you may want to run out quickly because there may be some brain explosions. I'll try and get you past that. It's okay. The topic for tonight is mainstreaming amateur radio. Well, that begs a whole bunch of questions, and I'll try and answer some of those. But I put a few pictures up here, and I actually reused most of these. But mainstreaming, what does it mean? First off, try and get more women in. That's a good thing. One thing I noticed after teaching martial arts for like 15 years was that every time a martial arts movie came out, there was a whole influx of people that wanted to do it. And I thought, this is perfect. We need Timothy Allen Dick. You know that's his name, right? Did you ever read his book? Very first line in his book says, I'm a dick. And he is. That's his name. It's Tim Allen, but it's Timothy Allen Dick. Anyway, the fact that he has a TV show, people get into amateur radio just because they have scenes with stuff in there. It happens. It's amazing. And then, you know, the astronauts, that's really cool and all. Everybody thinks the astronauts are really cool, but the media doesn't care anymore unless they blow up, right? So that's not important. And then the last one, and I only included this because this was us at Field Day several years ago. That young lady right there is the communications director, or was, for Congressman Rod Blum. That's kind of important when you want exposure to amateur radio, right? As it turns out, she's got a new job because Rod Blum doesn't have his job anymore. Now she's working for the guy that is the representative to Utah. So I guess most of you guys really don't know me, so I just threw this up here. But the important part is way at the bottom, because Bruce Lee said this, and I looked at that and I went, man, I can identify with Bruce Lee. That's kind of cool. It said, ever since I was a child, I've had this instinctive urge for expansion and growth. To me, the function and duty of a quality human being is the sincere and honest development of one's potential. Growth is a big deal. It's important, and you got to do it on every organization and personally and your family and all that. So that's kind of cool. All the rest of this is just crap about me. So why mainstream amateur radio? Why would you do this? As I said before, if we all use one frequency, the FCC is going to take the other ones away. So, retention of allocations. If there's more of us, we spread around a lot, we get to use lots more frequencies, and they'll want us to stay around. Better legislative support. If they know there's more of us, we're likely to have critical mass in Des Moines and in DC, and that's all good. Strength in numbers. We have more options. We get lower cost. We get more equipment to buy. China will make 1 billion Baofengs. I don't know. More friends and supporters. Amateurs are very introverted, so we don't really want to talk to each other, but we've got all these frequencies, so there's more of us, there's more odds that we might actually talk to each other. And it's more fun. Bottom line, in any organization, no matter what it is, no matter what the topic is, you either get to grow or you die. I can't believe how many times I've had this discussion within organizations that say, we just want to stay the same. Life happens. Eventually you don't get to stay the same, everybody goes away, so you have to grow. It's part of the deal. So what is a mainstream activity? An activity adopted by a significant percentage of the general population. That's me paraphrasing what I read in the dictionary. So I just picked something. What is mainstreaming? Well, sometimes if you read in the dictionary it says something like most of the population. Well, we're never going to get most of the population. I had to start with a practical limit and say, all right, let's use the innovation model, okay? Technology innovation model. And the first connection or the first data point there from 0 is the innovators. When you get to 2.5%, you go, great, we've got all the innovators. Guess how many we have now? Slightly less than 1%, actually quite a bit less than 1%. So let's use 2.5%. Let's use that as our first step. That's our goal. We're going to say 2.5% is our goal for mainstreaming amateur radio, okay? So where are we now? I had to check. This is as of Friday. As of Friday, there are 809,679 amateurs in the US and 6,873 in Iowa. That's 0.22% of the state is licensed in the state of Iowa. That's pretty tiny. So I said, all right, well, if 0.22% is what we have now, what would we need to get up to 2.5%? Our first target goal, right? That's what we're going to do for mainstreaming. That's 77,500 amateurs. Holy cow. Boy, did I bit off more than I can chew. That's a big deal. That's an uphill battle. That is 11 times what we have today. Is it possible? By the way, there's a whole bunch of other cool numbers in here. I've been tracking these things with how we compare to other states and how we can beat the other states. And it's a lot of fun to start messing with the numbers. So a little over 4 years ago, I started my own personal science experiment. I just wanted to see what's possible. So in November of 2014, I started a one-day amateur radio technician class. And everybody went, you can't do that in one day. Well, as it turns out, that's not exactly true. We start them a couple weeks ahead of time. We give them materials, we make them study, right? Terry? Yep. Works. See, so we've got some guys here that have done it, right? And it does work. So since then, I've done 30 classes. The last one was last Saturday in Waverly. The average class size is about 12. They vary a lot because the smallest one has been, I think, 6, and the biggest one was 34 in Dubuque. So just since then, 30 classes, just me, 5% increase in the number of hams in the state of Iowa. All right, now I got a data point I can work with. out of that, here's the actual numbers of increase per year. So 12 in 2014, because it was just that one class. Then 86 in 15, 106 in 16, 77 in 17, 59 in 18, and 8 in 19, because that was the one that was just Saturday. And then when you have a whole bunch of new hams, the first thing they want to know is, well, when do we get our upgrade class? Oh, crap. Okay, we'll do an upgrade class. And I told them all. There was 11 in the class. I said, look, you guys are guinea pigs. Just so you know, I don't know how this is going to come out. It was awesome. One class, 11 students, 100% pass. That was awesome. So they proved it. It is possible. Smart Alex, they get all done. They go, when's the extra class? I said, you are on your own. I'm not doing an extra class. Okay. What that did, I was tracking over at CVARC the number of members, but more importantly, the average age of the members and the years that they've been licensed. The average age of the membership went down 5 years. That's kind of cool. That's a big deal. Look around the room. Telling you. Okay, so that's kind of important. Okay, the whole point there is it was my own personal science experiment to see what one person could do. What happens if you have a team? All right, now we're getting into the mainstreaming. So far, that was the debut class, by the way. There was a bunch of people in that class. That was cool. That was an awesome class. Those are all the locations that I've been at so far. The asterisks are for the places that I've done them more than once in that location. So they've been everywhere. And yes, there were a couple in Minnesota. How that happens, somebody from Minnesota came down to Spencer and did a class and then went up there and said, hey, this guy teaches classes. Can you come up here and do that? Yeah, okay. Well, now that I did it over there, can you do it over in St. Paul? Yeah, okay, I can do that. It gets a little crazy. The best part, though, is other organizations picked up on it. Rod's Midwest Division newsletter, I wrote a couple articles, and it got picked up. There's a couple good news, bad news stories in there. Des Moines has done, I think, 3 classes now. Their record's better than mine. Every class they do, they had 20 people each, only 20. It's capped at 20. They get 20, they teach 20, and 20 pass. That's impressive. I don't know. Mason City's done 1, Ames has done a couple, Sioux City's done 1 or 2. So they're working on it, same kind of, but the same format, so it does work. I did have a poor soul call me from Hutchinson, Kansas. Poor guy. He called me one night, bent my ear. How do you do this stuff? This is really cool. I saw your article. What do you do? And I said, you do this, 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 and this. He's all right, great. Calls me back a month and a half later. He was this big off the ground. He could have slid under the door. He said, I got 5 people. I taught the class. They all failed. Well, what'd you do? Well, I didn't do anything you said. I just sent them a bunch of links to YouTube videos, and then they came and we went through the class test questions and they all failed. So he says, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. This is too hard. I said, dude, you got to follow the recipe. So there is a recipe. So y'all ready now? You're all juiced up. Join the resistance. There you go. I love that. That's awesome. So how do you get to 2.5%? Well, first of all, you have to bound it practically. You can't do that next year. So I said, all right, let's take 10 years and do it. Find a practical limit to how quickly you could do something like this. So in the state of Iowa, if you wanted to grow 77,500 brand new hams, you'd have to do 7,750 per year, right? Okay. Well, I just took a swag and said, all right, 50 instructors statewide. All right, that's a lot of instructors, but we've got a few around. 12 classes per instructor per year, once a month, that's it. That's only 600 classes per year. Now you go, ooh, it's starting to hurt your head. And I said, well, okay, what if there was 13 students per class? Okay, that's practical. I've been doing that. That works. That gives me 78,000 new hams in 10 years. It's possible. Now, that means you also have to overcome 10 years worth of attrition. Ooh, that's a little bit scary. And we need a whole lot of VE teams because our VEs are getting tired of me. When this all first started, this is awesome. We went to Atkins first time. Yep. We had 12 people in the class and 22 VEs showed up. Man, they were excited, I'm telling you. And then we kind of got the balance. It worked out. But we've got a great team here in the area. with Benton County VE team, which includes all the Linn County folks. And there's a team in Waterloo, there's a team in Sioux City I've been using, and there's a team in Des Moines. And there's also I've also got a team now in St. Paul. They've been traveling around to wherever, and you guys, and that's awesome that they're able to do that. So very, very cool, but it takes a lot of help. So I said, all right, let's say you need 50 instructors. Where are you going to get 50 instructors from, and where would you put them? So I just looked at the top 25 cities in population in the state and said, all right, let's just allocate instructors to each of those cities. All right, take a look at that for a minute. That's not bad. That's kind of reasonable. Cedar Rapids gets 5 with another 1 for Marion, so that's 6 for Cedar Rapids. All right, stick that in your head for a minute, but look at the rest. 8 in Des Moines, that's not that many. Okay, scatter them around. We used to do this in martial arts. We had instructors kind of scattered around the city, right? There was what, 5, 6, 7 different locations scattered around the city. Same thing here. So if you had 5, hold a class once a month. You can do that. Now this starts to make a little bit of sense. It doesn't sound so crazy. And yeah, you can scatter them all on down to the other cities. I got the whole list of all the cities, but so let's just take Cedar Rapids for a minute. Break that out. Let's take those 5 plus 1, Cedar Rapids plus Marion has 1, and say you got 6 instructors. That's 12 classes per instructor per year. That's 72 classes. Holy buckets, that's a lot of classes, right? Again, 13 students per class. That is 9,360 hams per year. Not bad. That's doable. That's doubling our present number, more than doubling every year. Okay, that's possible. Brains exploded yet? How do you find them? Okay, that's a problem. So, first of all, you got to help the general public find value in amateur radio. Okay, the traditional viewpoint of amateurs is not always great. You know, there's an image thing there. So, but the thing I've found in the last several years is people figured out that cell phones and internet are not 100% reliable. We could have a mesh network. We've got DMR, and we've got all this cool stuff. The emergency folks, the zombie killers, that's a big chunk of what's been going on in the last 4 or 5 years. There's a lot of those folks out there. Some of them are called threepers. Anybody hear of threepers? 3%ers? Yeah. Well, we're the 1%ers. There's less than 1% of us. And hobby stuff. So you have to get that message out. This all requires a major PR campaign and getting the word out that this is a thing. Want to fill this room up? You can fill 10 of these rooms up if you get those kind of numbers out. So you partner with organizations like the schools. It helps a lot if you have a school program. When my kids first started going to Kennedy, there was actually an amateur station there. And the shop teacher one day knew I was a ham. He said, hey, can you come here a minute? This was on PTA night. Opened up the cabinet, said, you know anything about this stuff? They had a ham station. It's gone now. Kirkwood had a ham station. It's gone now. Got to work on that stuff. What's that? Washington? There you go. So if you work with the schools, now I also said 4-H Scouts, STEM, the makers. David Kripe started a new ham club for the Scouts. There's another one in process because of yours. That's cool. You can do that. The churches, one of the churches in Vinton held a set of ham classes. They're working on it. So there's a lot of that stuff out there. The Emergency Service Organization. Interesting thing about these classes that I've found is the demographics of the folks that are in it. I've had people from 11 years old up to, I don't know, 70, I suppose, something like that. 11 through 13, no problem. They're at it. They're on top of it. 14 to 17 or 18, they don't really like studying all that much. So when I say my average is about 90% for passing, most of that is in that 14 to 18 range because they're not really big on studying. And then the other issue I have is the EMA folks. If people come there because they want to be there, because they want to kill zombies or have an emergency, that's one thing. But if the EMA, and this just happened, the EMA folks, I always go around the room, what's your name, where are you from, why are you here? And they go, I'm John Doe, and I'm from the town that the class is in, and I'm here because my boss made me. That's the EMA folks. Not 100%, but a lot of them. Guess how their pass rate goes? It's not that great. So you kind of have to think about all that when you're working on it, is who's into it and why are they there? So the one-day classes, why does it work? A class can have a higher probability of success because you're in front of them. You're relaying all this stuff. If you give them a book, whether they study or not is totally a crapshoot. Don't know if they'll do it or not. I try and make it as quick as possible and as painless as possible. Get them through the day, give them a little study time ahead of time. I know they're not going to read the whole book beforehand, but if they read part of it, they're ahead of the game. Test them afterwards. Get them done, get them out. Provide value to them. Make it worth their while. That ought to be worth your while as well, okay? So I'm not saying do it for free. Advertise outside the ham circles. This always cracks me up. Have you seen, and I live in flying world too, same thing happens. Advertise ham classes in a ham magazine. Excuse me? Really? Advertise learning to fly in a flying magazine. Well, the people that are doing it are already kind of there, you know, you don't need to do that. Advertise it in Popular Mechanics and Redbook and every other, you know, anything totally unrelated, you'll get better results. And then get them on the air as quickly. Throw them on the horse, give them a radio, get them going. So what I've been trying to do is make it affordable, make it a reasonable price for them. Everybody that's looked out has gone through the list of the stuff that comes with the class and they go, how do you do this? I'm living in the margins of quantities. I order boxes of books and boxes of radios and, you know, so it kind of works if you're working in the quantities. Make the payment easy. Hey, I own a flight school. I just tell them, didn't I? Say, go to the flight school, just pay for it on there. I've got one of my items on the flight school is ham class. Include books and study guides, include testing, include club membership for CARC or CVARC or whatever. Freebies, we got frequency cards and various things that come out. And now the funny thing is I'd been giving out radios with the class, part of the class fee, and then the FCC came in. Stepped in with a big foot, made it all not fun anymore. It's like, come on, guys. The worst part about that is the radios are completely legal for amateur use. They're not legal for the EMA folks. Guess who the problems are? They've already got them. They're already using them. They're the legal problem with Part 90, not us. But the FCC stepped in. So now we sort of have this last class was the first one I've done out of 30 that didn't have radios with the class. Sad day. No, you can still get it. You can still go buy it. You just can't advertise them and sell them, which is a little funny, as other than amateur radio. It's kind of a fuzzy line. There's a topic for your meeting.
They filed a lengthy protest to the FCC.
Yeah, and that's good. Right, and just to repeat what Rod said, and ARRL filed it. Yeah. ARRL filed a protest with the FCC to say, hey, it's okay, you should have an exemption for amateur radio use because it is legal for use in amateur radio. It's not legal for commercial use because they're not Part 90 certified. They should have said that, they didn't say that. So right now we're sort of in a gray zone. So class sequence, people that have the impression that I'm doing all of this in one